We're here for Fashion Week and we're here to kill it.
Just feel like I'm representing home in a new city.
I kind of live for the chaos, not gonna lie.
The second the music starts, like, I just feel powerful.
I love my curly hair, I love my ethnicity, I love all of that.
This is kind of breaking down doors and breaking barriers. Hi, my name is Joleen Mitton. I'm Korean Denza, born and raised in Vancouver. I founded Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, which is the first Indigenous fashion week in the world, and Supernaturals, which is also the first Indigenous modeling agency in the world that's legal.
One of the most common misconceptions I see of Indigenous people in Western society is that everyone thinks we look like Pocahontas, or we look like Chief Wahoo of the Cleveland Indians or one of the Chicago Blackhawks. We have been shaped by other people's perceptions of us. So now's the time for us to really start deciding how do we want to be seen. And so that's what we're trying to do, on our own terms, define how Indigenous people are represented.
I started my modeling career in 1999. I left for Vancouver to Asia, mostly in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Thailand, and Japan, and had my first toe dip in the big industry. I didn't really want to be a model. It was something that was more like a calling and thrust upon me because I was on my way to be a police officer. That was my dream as a kid.
So it was in the height of the pandemic that Joleen and I started Supernaturals modeling. It was November 2020, and we were having brunch one day and just really venting our frustrations with all of the horrible stories we had been hearing about how these young Indigenous models that we've grown to know and love and care for over these many years of working with them, and just hearing their horrible experiences, just trying to get their foot in the door in the industry. And even when they do get their foot in the door, the mistreatment, the racism, the discrimination that has been so prevalent, there's no agency that we've seen that takes culture into working with these people. They don't account for the often traumatic backgrounds that so many of us come from. So over this frustration, over brunch, Joleen and I committed that we're going to start a modeling agency. And then within a month, we had a logo, we had a name, and we did our first test shoot with some of the models that we had been working with for years. And within a few months after that, we launched the agency, not knowing anything about what it took to launch an agency, but determined that this needs to happen, and we'll figure it out as we go.
Actually, I didn't really want to start Supernaturals, to be honest with you. It's the fact that I started Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week in 2017. So when that happened, I accidentally created all these models, and they wanted to get into the industry, and I was kind of maybe go back to school or figure out something else, or definitely wait. For someone being so young at 15, I don't think it's an industry that's built for confidence. It's not built for love or kindness. It's very extractive. So having these young models wanting to pursue this career in an industry, that's the reason why Supernaturals exists, because they've already were being taken advantage of.
When I was a little girl, I didn't have anyone to look up to for, honestly, role models. We had the amazing Naomi Campbell and we had Sidney Crawford, but we had no Indigenous representation. So there was a point in my life when I was starting to compare myself from others, and I was like, do I fit this position? No one looks like me. No one's the same color as me. No one shares the same heritage as me.
I actually started as a model as I was 16 years old. I'm 29 now, so it's been a few years to say the least. I felt somewhat stunted, I think, working with other agencies. It can be, as I mentioned, a lot of, brown hair, 5'8" plus tall girls. And it was something too where I felt pigeonholed. And, many, many years ago, I actually at one point was considered a plus size model.
The Supernaturals family has saved my life. Growing up, I didn't have a community. I didn't know what that meant. I grew up with a single mother. My dad was there for a bit, but my mom had 5 children, so it was just me and my siblings was all I had. I did go into foster care when I was 9 years old, so to be part of such a strong community now and to know that families in my situation have a community to go to and reach out to. It's very like promising for the future generations that they won't have to experience that. And like, it doesn't mean that you just have to be a supernatural. Like, not everyone needs to be a model. I think that's one thing I like to push is like, because it's a very glamorous thing, you may think, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing you're capable of. It just means wherever you came from, no matter how hard it was, you can do whatever you want to do when you're with the right people and they keep you on that right path.
There's a responsibility for people who hold any place of privilege to fight against injustice to the best of their ability. As a man within my culture, as a Haida man, we take up a lot of space. We're loud, we're big, we're strong, but that comes with a responsibility. That means our role, our responsibility is to uplift those who don't take up that same space. That's the women held in high esteem, that's our elders, that's our youth.
Our people deserve to be protected, and that's what we're trying to do with Supernatural. Is we're trying to create a safe space for Indigenous people to explore their industry that is very predatory. And yeah, I'm really proud of that. I remember going to Asia and not having anyone with me, so no one to protect me. And if anyone asked me not to eat, I would gladly do it as a young person because I was such a moldable canvas for so many designers and agencies. So if anyone was to come at any of our models, I would rip their heads off.
The thing about fashion, if you look like a weirdo, you're doing it right.
Yeah. I think with working into the fashion industry, it's taught me how to gauge humans, and it's taught me how to show up. You know, if you can walk in a fashion show, you can walk into any kind of situation, and whether it's business or, you know, if you're looking to go into whatever school or whatever. Like I say, if you lack confidence, you learn to fake it a little bit. So I would just say I learned about myself. I learned about the strength that I have in this industry, because you have to be strong, and fashion isn't for the weak. One day I will take a vacation, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to go to Saipan, and I'm going to lay on the beach and just think about all the great things I've done. But at this time, it's kind of warrior time. Like, this is a time that lots of doors are opening for Indigenous people in terms of, you know, media, fashion. People are interested in us. We're just waiting for the world to wake up. We're waiting on you guys.